Good morning, Ultimate Baby Sleep Group. How are you doing? We are here today instead of cues and coffee. We are here today for our answers to your Monday question thread. So if you are new to the group, normally if you use hashtag SleepQ, I come in every day. I already finished my coffee, happens to be. I come in every day around 9:30 a.m. I'm committing to saying that now, everybody, okay? So every morning around 9:30 a.m., I'm going to come in and do my cues and coffee, which is when I answer your sleep questions, and I pick the questions when I see hashtag SleepQ. So if you want to get an answer from me, always use hashtag SleepQ, and I will come on in and answer you. But today, we are answering our Monday question thread, which typically I answer on Wednesdays, but gosh, it's just been one of those weeks. So let me pull everything on up so I can see who is watching and what is going on. This week's topic is transitioning from 2 naps to 1 nap. Okay, I've seen a lot of questions on this lately. How do you know when your child is ready? If they're ready, what do you do? How do you go about it to prevent overtiredness? Batya, you're always talking about a child being overtired being a dangerous road to go down. How do you prevent this? Okay, so there's a bunch of questions here. I'm going to try to go through them and answer as many as I can. But oh, and you should just know, by the way, there is some reason to my madness, which is not madness. The reason I like to have the weekly question threads in addition to the hashtag sleep cues is because when I'm answering the hashtag sleep cues, it's fine and dandy, it's great, but I can never really delve very deep on a topic, right? You post something, I try to read between the lines, answer you. This one's about a 3-year-old. This one's about naps. This one's about early rising, but when we have the actual questions and, the weekly question threads with topics, I'm able to really discuss it in depth, and then by the different questions that complement one another, you can look at the same concept from different angles. So that's why I do it. Okay, so before I go through the questions, I'm going to first discuss what this whole transition means and how you know this is something you need to work on. Then I'll talk about what to do and how to fix it, and then go through a few questions, okay? Typically, these Monday question thread themes, when I come in and answer, are a little longer than the hashtag sleep cues because I want to talk about this idea a lot. And if you are watching live and if you have a question, definitely hit me up below, but only ask me your question if it falls under the theme of transitioning from 2 naps to 1 nap. If you have an unrelated question to that, I might try to answer you afterwards, but just use hashtag SleepQ and put it in a new post so I can come on in and answer you with my daily cues and coffee. Okay, I hope that makes sense. All right, so when you're typically, children are usually taking, and 3 naps to 2 naps is another thread we'll talk about for younger babies. But people usually wonder, getting close to the 1-year-old mark, is my child ready to transition to 1 nap only? Usually at 13 months, 14 months, a child is usually typically taking 2 naps throughout the day, ranging anywhere from each nap being an hour to an hour and a half, sometimes a little longer, sometimes a little shorter, but typically getting about 3 hours, give or take, of cumulative day sleep distributed within 2 naps. Now, most kids, and whenever I give you a norm or an average, I'm just telling you statistics. It doesn't mean your child's going to fit into this box, because I have seen kids do it earlier and I have seen kids do it later, okay? But most children are not ready to transition to 1 nap till closer to 15 to 19 months. And I'm very weary to tell someone with a baby under 15 months to get down to only 1 nap for fear of being overtired. But I have seen, and I've worked with families intimately doing this, that there have sometimes been very little babies. I've even worked with a baby as little as 10 months who only needed 1 nap, but it's rare, okay? Even 1, it's rare. I really like to wait until your baby is close to 15 months or so until you begin to really transition to 1 nap, because otherwise you might be trying to fix the problem by just replacing it with another problem, okay? Because oftentimes your child will get overtired and could potentially cause naps to skyroll into a very bad place. Skyrocket is what I meant to say, but that was positive. So I meant like negatively roll down into a bad place prematurely. So, signs your child is possibly ready. Hey, Holly, good. I'm going to answer your question soon. I'm just giving a little background first. Signs your child is possibly ready to transition to 1 nap are obvious things sometimes, and sometimes less obvious. Number 1, fighting the first nap. Fighting the second nap. Waking up when your child normally used to take a solid hour and a half nap for either one of those naps. They might not be fighting going down, but gosh, they're waking up prematurely. Ridiculous irritability that you don't know why it's happening in the afternoon. Early rising is a very common issue. Fighting bedtime, waking up frequently throughout the middle of the night, like sometimes just a serious regression that seems to like bout its ugly head out of nowhere. There's no developmental milestones happening. There's no teething or stomach things going on, just like it seems like out of nowhere, and it's not out of nowhere, it's your child developmentally telling you that they need a different structure for their days, okay? So those are signs typically that your child is ready, and if they meet the criteria of being within this age bracket. It's not always a telltale sign that you're ready to transition to one nap. Sometimes it could just be, gosh, there's a regression. Sometimes it could just be, oh wow, a new sleep dependency is developing, I need to fix. So I wouldn't always jump the gun. I have to just I don't want to make a blanket statement. If your child is having sleep issues or troubles and is in this age bracket, switch to one nap. Not the case necessarily. Some kids, like I said earlier already, some kids still at 20 months, 21 months, 20, close to 2 are still taking 2 naps, right? I'm working with a client now, she has a 2-year-old and he's still in a 2-nap structure. That's just what his body needs. So just averagely speaking, when you feel that your child is ready and you've tried a bunch of things and you really think avidly like this is the cause of all the sleep fighting that's happening, then what you want to do, you can't just jump the gun and suddenly keep your kid awake from 7 a.m. till an afternoon nap later, because their body is used to only staying awake 2.5 hours, 3 hours, maybe 3.5 hours, however long you have it distributed. So you need to take nap number 1 and nap number 2 and slowly fuse it together to be into one solid place. So let's say, I'm just going to make this up, let's say you've got 17-month-old Chad, and he wakes up at 7 a.m., usually takes a morning nap at 9:30 for an hour till 10:30, and then another nap later on around 2 for an hour and a half, okay? Pretty normal schedule. But Chad has started to fight his morning nap, and now he won't go down till 10:30, and he's only taking a super short nap, and then fights nap number 2, and doesn't even go down, is irritable all afternoon, and then conks out at 4 o'clock, and then you have to wake him up, he's tired, fights bedtime. This is like a typical situation where you would see that a child is ready to transition to one nap. So you can't just take the 9:30 nap and ignore it and keep him awake till 2. Ultimately speaking, you want to have nap number 1 and nap number 2 fall within rhythm to be somewhere in between. So the goal that you're working towards, I usually like to see when a child's on a 1-nap structure, I like to see the nap happening about 4.5 hours after they've woken up for the morning. So if Chad is waking up at 7, ideally I'd like his nap to be somewhere around 11:30. But still, jumping from 9:30 to 11:30 is not necessarily going to work because he can't suddenly stay awake 2 hours longer despite his fighting. So what you do is gradual, like I always tell you all. You have to work with your kid's rhythm. Do it in a natural progression so you're not forcing them to do something prematurely, okay? He goes down normally at 9:30. Keep him awake till, or whatever, he's fighting you. This is Chad that I just talked about. So if he's fighting your nap until 10 typically, keep him awake till 10:15, 10:30 for 3-4 days. And let him take a little cat nap later on around 3. Then 3-4 days after that, bump the 10:15, 10:30 nap to be closer to 10:45, 11. He might not be needing that second nap. He might still be a little irritable. You might have to bump bedtime slightly earlier. But after about a week, week and a half, you'll have slowly adjusted his nap 15 minutes later, 15 minutes later, 15 minutes later, that he'll be ready to go down for that one nap around 11, 11:30 potentially. Okay, so I'm going to hope that makes sense. If anyone's watching, I can't even see who's watching. I know Holly was here a second ago. If you're watching, say hi. If you know someone who has issues transitioning from 2 naps to 1 nap, definitely send them this link when we're done. All right, so Holly, I'm going to answer your question here. It could be I've already answered you. I'm wondering what the signs are for transitioning from 2 naps down to 1. My 1-year-old, who I just said is a little bit on the young age, but let's see. My 1-year-old's been waking up earlier and earlier in the morning, and I've tried bumping bedtime by 15 minutes to see if it helps. It does nothing. Her naps are consistent, and she goes to sleep on her own and sleeps through the night. I'm wondering if I push on her naps, if that will help her sleep longer at night. Bedtime routine starts at 7:10, and she wakes up around 6 minus minutes. Sorry, her AM nap, she wakes up around 6 or 6:30. I didn't understand what you meant there. Okay, her morning nap is 9, and asleep by 9:30 p.m. Nap routine starts at 1:40. I'm just trying to see what's going on. If I delay her nap to 2, she will sometimes refuse it altogether, but I hate to take away her 45 minutes to fall asleep. I'm a little confused with your question here. Let me just reread this. Bedtime's at 7:10. She wakes up around 6 or 6:30. And her morning nap is 9 or 9:30. Hey, Natalie. Hey, Danielle. Thanks for saying hi. Okay. So in her case, it's not necessarily the best idea to push her into taking 1 nap, only because both naps are a little early. It's not that she's staying away such a drastically long time, and it's not only her age that's telling me it might not be the ideal time for her. It's also the fact that she's having such difficulty falling asleep. Holly, if you're watching, did you try bumping bedtime earlier or later to prohibit this, to go against this early morning rising? Let me know, okay? But write that up in the comments if you're still watching, Holly. Otherwise, you can tell me afterwards. But my suggestion to you is not necessarily to bump bedtime to be earlier, bump bedtime to be later. You made it a little bit later. Okay, so I want you to know that probably wouldn't help because early rising is telltale sign of being overtired. If you watch our early rising videos in here, Holly, you'll understand what I'm saying. But making bedtime later could just potentially cause her to be even more overtired and wake up earlier. So making bedtime later might not be the cause. I'm wondering if you need to reconfigure the nap structure altogether. What I would try to do is cap her morning nap so it's a little shorter. I would never jump the gun to have her only on a one nap structure just based on what you're telling me and the fact that she's younger. I would try to limit her morning nap to be shorter, around 40 minutes tops. And it might sound totally counterintuitive. What do you mean by wake up my sleeping child? Doesn't mean going with pots and pans and banging loudly. Gently rouse her, open the shades, have it be gentle. And as her body acclimates to a shorter morning nap and potentially longer second nap, I would think that will help things fall in a more even flow, that she won't fight sleep so much. That's where I would start, okay? I can't tell you for sure that she doesn't need one nap, but based on what you're telling me, there's no flashing signs other than the early rising and fighting it a little bit. So try reconfiguring it so she's potentially in a more ideal sleep window when she goes down for those naps. Okay. Hadass. My 14-month-old, that makes sense. Okay, good. Try it out, Holly. Let me know how it goes because I don't want to jump the gun to one nap. That could potentially really make things go to a bad place. Okay. Hadass says her 14-month-old is fighting her second nap, and if she takes it, she can be up for a long time after, which messes up her nights. I tried 8:30. 8:30 wake up, 11:30, 12:15 nap 1, 4:15, 4:45 nap 2, 9:30 bedtime. She fights her second nap majorly, and I can't tell anymore if she's undertired or overtired. I think she's teething. Some days she skips. I can't push down her first nap because she's already tired by 11:30. Okay. 11, 9, 10, 11. So I would try in your case, Hadass. It does potentially sound like she might be ready for only one nap. But because if she's waking up at 12:15 from her first nap and going down at her second nap at 4:15, of course, if she's waking up close to 6 o'clock, she's not going to go to bed till 9:30 or 10. And it's almost this vicious cycle because she's going to bed late, waking up late, is still overtired from lack of night sleep. So of course she's falling on her face for her first nap. I recommend having that first nap slightly later. Like I just said, don't suddenly jump it to 1. If she's going down at 11:30, try to push it to 11:45 for 3-4 days. Then till 12. I'd like to see her going down, remember, within that 4.5 hour window, so around 12-ish. And then don't let her take that second nap. Even if it means she's a little overtired in the process, try to bump bedtime to be a little bit earlier. And within a week's time, it should even itself out. Okay, next question. Aubrey, I'm interested in what the signs are. When are typical changes from 3 to 2? 3 to 2 naps we're going to do in another thread because it's a little bit different. Why do you recommend then the ages that I do? How do you adjust the day with the transition phase and things are off? Yeah, so that's everything we're talking about. Aubrey tagged someone. Okay, so Danielle could watch it. Who's here? Awesome. Okay, let's answer Danielle's question because I saw she was here. I hope this falls under the category of what we're going to be answering. Could it be time to transition to one nap? Oh, I didn't see everyone else's comments here. Okay. Amisa advice. My 15-month-old for the past few weeks has been waking up extremely early, like starting to cry, sob, scream at 5 a.m. She just started getting into a routine where she's waking up at 7, which is great. When she started crying at 5 a.m., she's so loud that she wakes the entire house, including my 5-year-old, who always sleeps till 7:30. I'm not sure what to do anymore, but it's taking a toll. If it weren't for the screaming, crying, you'd think she's still sleeping. She's always laying down, never sitting or standing, sometimes moving to change positions. I do not go into her room, and I will always wait until at least 6:30 to see if she falls back asleep. And for the most part, she does, 10 minutes, etc., and starts crying again. Nothing about her routine has changed except the past week. It seems like she's trying to transition to one nap. Ding, ding, ding. So her morning nap is maybe 45 minutes, an afternoon nap an hour if she takes one. On the if, okay? And what did you just say now? Oh, this is a different Daniela. I'll answer you in a second. Okay, so I would think, yes, your 15-month-old is ready for one nap because she is fighting that second nap and early rising, which combo together tells me one nap, one nap. Try to bump that first nap to be a little later, like I spoke about, and transition her down to 1, okay? Let's see. Okay, a few people asking when we were doing this. We were doing it now. Let's answer Natalie. My boy is 14 months old, and he's been a terrible napper. He takes a 30-minute nap in the morning and a 30-minute nap in the afternoon, sometimes 45 minutes. He goes to sleep on his own, no props, and now he's starting to fight both naps and wakes up crying. He's happy during the day and sleeps 10, 11 hours through the night. Should I do the transition to one nap? Here's his schedule. This is so helpful that you gave me the details, Natalie. 6:30 wake up, 10:30 nap, 11 wake up, 3 p.m. nap, 3:30 wake up. Yeah, so he is overtired. The fact that he falls asleep, though, really well for the naps independently, is sleeping those 10, 11 hours. I want to kind of kitty back on that progress and help him. So 100%, okay, one nap. But what you want to do now, 6, he's waking up. So it sounds like in his case, I always tell people around the 4.5 hour mark for a nap, but he could potentially be having such a short nap because by the time you're putting him down, Natalie, he's overtired. So completely contradicting what I've told everyone else here, I would try to actually make that one nap earlier. If he's waking up at 6:30, 10:30 might be too late for him. Try offering the nap at around 9:45 or 10. I don't want it to be too much earlier, and see if that helps him stay asleep. And if it doesn't, I even recommend using some props to help him, because it could be his little internal clock is so set for those short 30-minute naps that no matter what time you offer, his body's going to fight you and wake up early. So do your best right now, even if it means potentially going backwards for a prop of holding or rocking or even resetting him like we talk about a lot in these videos. Do that temporarily just so his body can learn to transition to the next sleep cycle, because it sounds like he's getting stuck, and instead of when another baby would maybe fall back asleep, he's waking up full-fledged. So offer the nap a little earlier and try to use some temporary props to help him transition back to sleep. And once it's more normal for his body, he should be able to take a longer nap. And I would like to see a good hour and a half, 2 hour nap, especially if it's so early. Okay. And then in turn, what's going to happen? Bedtime's going to be bumped up a little earlier too. It's a combination of, I think, the first nap being offered a little too late and bedtime too late. So if he's waking up at 6:30, I would definitely try to offer bedtime closer to 6:45 or 7, because it could, all sleep is all interconnected. Late bedtime, waking up early, even though he's sleeping those 10, 11 hours and doing those different things could potentially make it difficult for him. Once you get to the one nap, should eventually be about 2 hours. Yeah, I would hope so. But Danielle, it really just depends on him. We can never force a child to do anything, as we all know, right? And trust me, all kids, no one is perfect, right? My 3-year-old didn't want to go to bed last night. Like, it happens, right? She's not a robot, despite what everyone thinks. Batya's kids are magical sleepers. They're great sleepers, but they don't have an off switch, even though I really wanted to find one on her last night, okay? So we can only help your child be the best sleeper within the confines of who he is. So yeah, ideally, sorry, in my face here, ideally I would like to see a 2 hour nap, but that doesn't mean he's going to magically acquiesce. I'd love, though, minimum hour and a half, just to help compensate, to battle that overtiredness. And once you offer it earlier and offer bedtime earlier, Danielle, I think it's going to make everything kind of flow a lot better. All right, let's see what other questions there were live now. I'm going to scroll up. Let's see. I'm trying to get to everyone's questions. Okay, Frady. Let's see. Okay, hang on. You know, I'm going to look on my computer because my phone doesn't let me view a long comment. Oh, I can't see it. Okay, so I'll look at it afterwards. Let's look at Danielle. Danielle says, a different Danielle, Ferrante, not Danielle Smith-Gray. Okay. Could it be time to transition to one nap? My little one is 15 months and she currently goes through a few things developmentally, learning to climb, pull herself up, standing in her bed, trying to take steps on her own. On weekends, she'll have a 2 hour plus nap in the morning and then a 30 to 1.5 hour nap in the afternoon. But daycare, she'll have 2 super short naps, 15 to 30 minutes each, or drop one completely and then have a super short nap in the afternoon. Lately, though, where'd you go? Lately, though, in general, if she has more than 2 hours in the morning, she'll skip her afternoon nap. Okay, I'm just breezing through this. Her schedule is as follows. 6 a.m., wake up, nap 1, 9 a.m. for 2 hours, nap 2 to 2:30, bedtime 6 or 7. It sounds like, Danielle, let's see what else you wrote. Oh, this is Frady's question. No, this is Danielle. Sorry, I'm getting confused. Frady, I, for some reason, can't view yours, so I'm going to have to answer you after. But Danielle, it sounds like that little second nap that's going on in there is really just holding your baby through till bedtime. It's not like she's getting such qualitative sleep, but I would like to see that first nap happening a little later, like I told everything else, and I think that will nip it in the bud. She's basically on a one nap schedule. But I want to tell you something. If you've watched our video on daycare and sleep, I always say, and I will tell you again now, it is so critical that the same thing happens daily. A 2 hour nap on the weekend, and then 2 2.5 hour naps at daycare Monday through Friday, and then again Saturday, Sunday, 2 hours. It's like a yo-yo with her internal clock, and it drastically causes overtiredness and could potentially throw sleep super, super off. So I recommend doing whatever you do at home, having them mirror it if possible at daycare. If you can get that one nap to be around 10-ish, 10:30, a solid 2 hours, then don't offer that second nap and see if they can mirror that at daycare. It could be daycare's just so stimulating and fun. The friends, the lights, the noise, everyone else sleeping like she doesn't want to, you can't force it. But the more consistency that you can uphold and have in place, the better she's going to sleep and the happier she's going to be. And the happier the daycare is going to be. My goodness, they want happy kids. They want rested kids, right? So I hope that makes sense. Okay. So I don't know why. Let's see if I can answer the rest of the questions that are in here that didn't come in. No, they didn't. Okay. So everyone who's watching, I hope this was helpful. Stay tuned for next week's topic thread. I have to go look to see actually what it's going to be. I don't have it totally organized in my brain, but we'll definitely check it out and do that. You know, I love this group, and I have just a total confession to make that I am obsessed with helping people sleep, okay? I do it full time. Like when I'm working with my families, I've helped thousands and thousands of families over the past 11 years. This group, the family's working with me in my program, but I've had to make some serious boundaries. So I had the baby sleep show that started last week. I don't know if you've seen it. We were doing it at night. It was awesome. It was so much fun, but I have to just like make a barrier that I'm not going to be working at nights anymore. So as of now, we're still keeping our weekly question thread on Mondays. We are still keeping our Q's and coffee every day that I'm going to come in at 9:30 a.m. to get my attention for those. Use hashtag SleepQ for the Monday question thread. Just post like people did in that topic thread. The baby sleep show is going to be back. I just have to figure out where to fit it in because I really liked having a back and forth. I really like talking with you, but I just can't do it at night. You know, my kids are getting older, especially the big ones, and even though I got the little ones down to sleep, I felt like my bigger ones, just twice a week, I really want it. You know, this is what it's all about for me, and it really felt like almost a contradiction. I'm sitting here like empowering other parents to be that all to them, and I felt like I was missing out on a little bit of bonding time at bedtime with my kids. You know, I always end work at 3 and I'm with my little ones and all the ones when they come home with the carpools and the errands and dinner and homework always, but I don't like having to escape and rush out at bedtime because bedtime is the sweetest hour in my home. I love that bonding time. I love that one-on-one. I love that quiet time. So yeah, my husband's watching. He's saying yes because he understands that this was something I really wanted to get going here. And hang on one second, there was some noise over here. Yeah, so that's what's going to be going on. So stay tuned. If you are new to the group, use hashtag SleepQ, and I will come in every day around 9:30 a.m. to do my Q's and coffee and pick hashtag SleepQ questions to answer. Monday question thread, usually come in sometime on Wednesday to answer if it falls within that theme. Obviously today was transitioning from 2 naps to 1 nap. And that is that. If you are interested in working intimately with me, I do have a few spots open now in my Rested Moms Club, which is my one-on-one program to work with me. I evaluate all of your baby's habits in depth, create a personal sleep plan for you. And yes, a lot of you have been emailing me, do you work with 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds? I work with 8-year-olds and 9-year-olds, okay? So if your baby's under 4 months, we have something separate for you. But if your baby's 4 months all the way till 10, I can help you. You work intimately with me with daily email correspondence. I send you videos of myself and evaluate everything in detail. So I will share the link above if you want to set up a call with someone on my team. They will walk you through the system and how it works and see if you're a good fit for my program. If you decide to join, though, you work intimately with me. All right? So have an amazing weekend. All of you who are ready and loaded to transition to 1 nap, you're awesome. You can do it. Let me know how it goes, and I will see you all on Monday. Take care.